Hello, my lovely. You didn't get to where you are in your business by doing shit the way that everybody else does. And you know that what got you to where you are now is not going to get you to where you want to be. And if you are listening to this podcast, it's because you want to be the go to for what you do better than anywhere else. Your unrepeatable stack of genius is the niche. Being you, that bold, unfuckwithable presence that you've been secretly craving to set free, she's in there and she's ready to come home. But that means you will have to burn some bridges down. And attracting your fuck yes dreamy clients will also repel those who are not for you. Fucking hooray. Because becoming a force of nature business and brand means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your turbo brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you have ever been told to turn it down as a woman with later life diagnosed ADHD, it is time to tone your shit all the way back up. That is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business and visibility, even though it's something you may have been avoiding. It's what you truly want, and this is how you get it. This podcast is about stepping up into your upgrade because watering down anything never changed the fucking world. You were not born to be forgettable. And as one of my all-time favorite quotes says, well-behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well-behaved, at least not anymore. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about 11 things I do in my business, things that are just me as a person and how I operate that might make some normie coaches shit a fucking brick. And I don't mean any of this in that like, look how edgy I am kind of way at all. It's more like, this is what it actually looks like to build a coaching business with an ADHD brain when you're working with it and not against it. So before we get into today's topic, if you are done working with coaches in the normie industry and you're ready to talk to somebody who just gets you, book your free call. It's 30 minutes. It is not a coaching call. It is more diagnostic. I can take a look at where you are, what you feel isn't working, what's going on with your self-trust, and show you what business growth looks like when you stop trying to follow rules your brain is not wanting to follow. Also, I'm a specialist. Coaches with late diagnosed ADHD are my specialty. You are all I work with day in and day out. So who better to help you than somebody who's walked through it and walked other clients through the same? DM me on Instagram at Carry Out Loud or apply to work with me directly. And if you want to become an insider, hop onto my newsletter. It's exclusively for female founders with late diagnosed ADHD. And all of those links are in the show notes. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur, the podcast for my fellow feral female coaches with late diagnosed ADHD who refuse to play by the fucking rules. I'm Carrie. I'm your host. I'm the chief weirdo of Carry Out Loud. I have also been called the fairy god mentor to all women with ADHD. That was by a client. I happily and proudly wear that. If you are new here, welcome home. You found your people. Take a second, go check out the trailer for the podcast so you can hear a little bit more about who I am and why I do what I do if you are new. And if you're not, welcome back. Here are 11 things that I do as a coach with ADHD that would make a lot of neurotypical coaches and their advice, it would just make them lose their fucking ever-loving mind. So I want to talk about these with you and see if you relate to any of these or what something is that you feel would do the same. Number one, I'm a business coach disguised as a life coach and vice versa. So I realized that is what has kind of been happening since I got my certification. So I did my second certification after my ADHD diagnosis. Let me explain. I did a weekend certification first. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That did not feel like enough. And I wanted more time and more practice sessions. So I chose to go through a 3-month program. Both use the IFC guidelines, which is the life coaching gold standard. And it was during that 3 months that I actually got my diagnosis. The other coaching students that I was in there with helped me process what I was going through, which is pretty wild to think about now. And that was really invaluable. So the thing is, there is a difference between like business coaching or business strategy, consulting, any of those things where I'm coming in and giving you my expertise and showing you how to do certain things based on my 27 years of experience. However, when you are doing life coaching, it's different. So I don't actually mix them on the same day with the client. I get the consent to speak frankly out of the way in the deep dive intake form. I ask for permission there right out of the gate. And then if I'm seeing a client speak about something that's business related, maybe like a funnel or something that they think is not working, and I'm seeing something else going on, I will immediately switch hats and stop doing any kind of business coaching and consulting and turn more into that side of things. And so I did not realize I was doing this. And so where it really clicked for me was when I look back in retrospect at my last 3 years and found the moments that shifted my business and propelled it forward, where I trusted myself to start subtracting versus adding. And I knew my offer suite was solid. My business had felt heavy and confusing to me, and I really was over it. That was kind of my own moment of like, I'm tired of my own shit right now, right? I was done with my own bullshit. And that was when I realized that it was the business coaching and life coaching that had helped me. I was kind of naturally switching hats depending on what the client need was at that time. And I give them strategy and help them rebuild their self-trust. They have to do the work, right? So that's business coaching and life coaching. Nobody really clocks this is what's going on unless they've heard me talk about it, because they're already starting to heal and they're like, I don't know why this is happening. It's because they are being reflected back to ask questions and bringing themselves to their own decisions and choices that they can therefore trust. They can trust themselves. And that is my secret edge. I am telling you now because it works. And I don't care why, it just fucking works. And I have mastered how to use those depending on what the client needs. Number 2, I only have 3 direct coaching offers and 1 program that is a companion to all 3. Now, I do have my anti-framework playbook, which is inside the sisterhood. That lives there. That's part of the on-demand library. There's additional things in there. However, I used to have a lot more. When a lot of other coaches or mentors are having you stack up different tiers and have tripwires and upsells and downsells and VIP days and mini courses and memberships and retreats, before you're ready for any of that, first of all, before you're ready for multiple pieces of that, right? You may be part of the way to needing more nuance, but keeping it simple still plays here. I have 3 offers and the course that are married together, and they're all based on my own intellectual property. So I am teaching the things that a lot of other coaches teach as far as business, but my differentiator is I am filtering it through a lens of late diagnosed ADHD and helping them with simplification and that self-trust. And the thing I love coaching on the most that comes easily to me personally and not to everyone is that is what I help my clients do. I see the patterns my clients aren't seeing. I see the nuance in the strategy that they're missing. And none of that means it has to be complex. All it needs to be is something that works for the client. By the time I started cutting away in my own business, it was really easy to let go. Before that done moment, I literally kept every offer I had ever created live, every one of them. I'd have to go back in and count. It's at least 8 or 9. At least. I killed off every one that made no sense to where my business is now. I took away every program that I thought I should create, and I refined whatever I liked to work in what was the way that was best for me to run it, that still supported my clients well. Offers that take care of my clients at the level I want to, while being a delivery method for these offers that I love, one that works for my brain and my energy ebbs and flows. And I stopped building what I thought I fucking should have. And I started building what worked for my brain. That was not painful. That was a relief. So if anyone wants to shit a brick about that, that's on them. Number 3, I do screen shares and fixing things in real time on coaching calls. This is not, here's your homework, go implement, come back next week, unless that's the kind of coaching you want, because everybody wants something a little different or has a little different need. I get in to their business on a call because sometimes having a client share their screen gets something done that they've put off for a long time when I know it can be done in 5 minutes. I have done this to a few of my clients where they were talking about something they were stuck on and casually mentioned to them, oh, hey, can you just like shoot me that link real quick? And they'll shoot a link and I'll go into whatever it is. I'm like, open that up. Now, what is it that you need to do? And I'll literally just start saying certain things. And by the time they know it's happened, it's finished. Right. And that's not because they're dumb or they couldn't do it. That our brains glitch. Okay. They fucking freeze. And if you have somebody who in a moment like that can help jolt you out of that, that can give you momentum. It really, really does. And it often gets them out of paralysis, or sometimes I'll show them software they're considering, how the back end of the program looks, things like that. Because a lot of us process visually. I'm going to show them once and then they can repeat it, right? It's teach them to fish versus fishing for them. And I'm not going to sit here and watch somebody spiral about a tech thing for 2 more weeks when I can literally say, share your screen, let's do it now. I mean, that's dumb to not do that, right? That's not hand holding though. That's mentorship that is a different need because of the way our brains work. Period. That's it. Number 4. This is more of a new one. I do not baby my clients. I use my frying pan of love. That's what I call tough love. That is where I ask a question my client may not want to answer, but she knows she needs to, or I might make an observation that might be hard to hear, but she knows it's because I care, or where I repeat what she has just said to me so she can hear her own words out of someone else's mouth, which usually is very clarifying because they're like, whoa, when it comes out of your own mouth, it does not sound the same when it's reflected back. And sometimes repeating that is all they need to hear. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm letting them hear themselves. And I, as I said, ask for the consent to use the frying pan of love in my client intake form. I define what it is. They are able to say, yes, they're fine with it. No, they're not. Or yes, with modifications. That way I ask before I use it in real time and they can tell me if they aren't ready, because there are just some times in our business where we just cannot. We just can't take another thing, right? So I can always hold that. But this is more structured, consensual, tough love with a lot of my big marshmallowy heart behind it. Now, some people might say, oh, that's hand holding, that's doing it for you. No, because again, it's teaching them to fish. They're not going to need me to do that over and over and over again. I'm going to do that. I'm going to give them the transcript. Off they are. Because sometimes our brains just think something is more difficult than it really is. And we need somebody to go, nope, let's do it. Let's walk through it together. Let's go. And that also helps my clients trust themselves more, funny enough. Number 5, I do pre-work before my deep dive client calls. This is a big deal because my world famous deep dive, which I jokingly call it, it's the entry point to work with me at this point. So whether they go into a one-on-one or they go into my mastermind, the sisterhood, they start with a deep dive. And I want to know their business top to bottom. I don't want to waste time in that 90 minutes that they have with me in the getting to know you phase. I walk in knowing what areas they need help with the most. Besides that gap, if they're experiencing it and need to strengthen that foundation with themselves, and also in their business strategy. So leads, messaging, social media, copy, whatever it is they need looked at or analyzed or, reviewed. And then we create together their simplification growth plan based on all the options I present them that are ADHD friendly, that work in the marketplace, in their niche, and are customized to the way their brain works. So it's the establishment or creating a reinforcement under the foundation is usually what we do for the first 30 days or so. And that will carry them to their next level of growth and revenue, that more solid foundation underneath them that they didn't realize they could get under them so quickly to start gaining traction again and to start having a business that doesn't feel as heavy as it does to run and is simplified for your brain. so that it works with your ebbs and flows. So by the time they get on the call, I already know the struggle, the ins and outs of their business. They're not spending half the session explaining their business to me. I think that's bullshit. I think that's so unfair to the client. So I walk in ready to work, and it blows my clients' minds every time because they really get that 90 minutes. Sometimes it'll even go a little longer. I plan for that. I know we have ADHD, right? So again, it's not hand holding. This is taking what you have in your business and tweaking it to fit the way that your brain works and the way that your energy ebbs and flows. There's literally nothing wrong with that. And the other thing that shocks my clients is my lack of judgment or shaming them, and my lack of needing them to over explain themselves, because they're just used to all of those things and they do not experience that with me. Number 6, I tell my people that imposter syndrome feelings are real, but the framing that you believe is about you is not right. My opinion, my very strong opinion on imposter syndrome is, yes, the feelings of doubt are real, but the framing of it as like a personal failure of a syndrome, I hate that. I think it's a construct. And as for women like us who are late diagnosed with ADHD, we may have fears that feel like imposter syndrome moments, but that is not at the root. It's that gap in self-trust. It's that reckoning of, holy crap, I was trustworthy the whole time, rebuilding self-trust, rebuilding that trust to listen to your intuition that has never steered you wrong. Some of us have intuition that steers us wrong. That's different. I'm talking about the kind that, like, at a gut level, you know something's right, you go against it, you knew better. And it just happens to you over and over and over again. So it's bridging that gap. When the label is wrong, the solution is wrong. So if you've thought this was something you contended with and you've been trying to solve it using ways that help with imposter syndrome itself, you can't fix that self-trust problem with things that are here to help you with the feeling of imposter syndrome. It's the wrong thing for that issue. When the label is wrong, the solution is wrong. And usually when I tell them what this is really going on, their jaw kind of slacks open a little bit, their eyes get a little bit big, and they say they knew it wasn't imposter syndrome. Way deep down, they knew it was something else. And this is the sentence I get repeatedly: I didn't have the words for it. I didn't have the words for it. So now I give them words for what they feel. It's not a label. It's just something it's language, right? And this is something I know from personal experience. I don't feel like a fraud at all. I feel fear like a normal human being, where there are moments I feel like, what the fuck do I think I'm doing? I'm a alive human being, right? The root cause, though, was that gap in my own self-trust. It wasn't imposter syndrome, because when I bridge the gap, I don't feel imposter syndrome at all. I feel fear. I feel nervous. I feel anxious, but not like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That is gone. I know what I'm doing. That's not even a concern for me anymore. Number 7, I call myself things like fairy god mentor and chief weirdo and self-trust whisperer on my professional platforms, right? Chief weirdo came from me wanting to reclaim the word weirdo for good. I had heard that term used in a derogatory way my whole fucking life towards me. I always felt like the weirdo in the room, and not like the good way, not like our kind of weirdo, right? So I decided I was going to shift the fucking narrative in my own mind and take the word back and made it my title, because CEO just felt boring to me. And as the fairy god mentor, like I said earlier, that was from a client. I think she called me the fairy godmother of all of ADHD. And I took it and put god mentor because of being a mentor and a coach, right? But I adopted it because that came from one of my people. I didn't do that. Somebody else that I helped did that. And it was fun, right? Self-trust whisperer, that's what I call myself, because I watch my clients change from women who are having trouble trusting themselves to a totally different way of moving through the world. And it's really fucking rad to watch. So that is my own moniker, because I just love that term, like the horse whisperer, the dog whisperer. I just think that's funny. Number 8, I make warm introductions to some vetted service providers for my clients. I'm a super connector who has been in the arena for 7 years. I have met many incredible women who have done what they do for a while. They are a lot of them have ADHD or definitely ADHD adjacent. So sending a client to somebody who I know gets their brain and maybe has the same kind of energy is such a win-win. I've had clients get websites from people that I've met and networked with, and I've had clients get branding. I've had clients do all types of VA, OBM, all of that jazz. So I actually truly love sending referrals to other women in business. And I love knowing my clients are in more vetted hands because I can never guarantee anything. I don't know the ins and outs of every single person's business, but I know reputations. And that does so it doesn't always guarantee a fit, but I am usually pretty good about matching up the personalities. And I am not just coaching my clients, I'm plugging them into a network of people with brains like theirs that I already know have compatibility for our freaking ADHD ass brains. And that is something that there is no course or framework that is going to replicate that, because that is just the network of human beings that I know that come with me in my own brain. Number 9, I let clients roll their self-trust gap course, the new course I have, Deconstructed and Dangerous, or my 90-minute deep dive into one-on-one coaching with me, or in the Neurospicy Sisterhood within 30 days. I know personally off the top of my head, I can think of one that does this, that protects the investment. My programs are all included in the Neurospicy Sisterhood and one-on-one coaching with me. So for that 30 days, they can roll it over and they're only gaining, not losing. And if it goes beyond the 30 days, it's okay, because in the deep dive, they get a full plan that is personalized and they can execute. And with purchasing my course, they get lifetime access, including updates. So no matter what, my clients are always going to win. There's literally no losing move with my clients, and that's by fucking design. They either get the standalone deep dive or with the lifetime access to their hub and their recording, their purchase, any courses, any of that is going to be there as long as I am in business. So I like to remove a lot of the risk entirely, so that if somebody needs to build a little trust with me and see that I know what the fuck I'm talking about and they've never heard the podcast, something like that, I want to do that. Why would I punish somebody for them saying yes to working with me? That's just stupid. That's, to me, bad business. That's me personally. Number 10. This isn't something I talk about too often. I mention it, but not as frankly as I am here. I have codified profanity into my brand as a standard. It is in my brand Bible. It is everywhere. And it is spelled out, no asterisks, no censoring, and it is in a professional brand document. It is on my website. Do you know why? Because it is literally how I fucking speak. And I now refuse to have dissonance between who I am if you walk up to me on the street and who I am in my coaching programs and who I am on my calls. I want it all to be the same person, because for a lot of my life, it wasn't. It was a lot of masking. So me not swearing is masking. It's not being myself. And living that way for most of your adult life means you refuse to mask up and curb your swearing, because somebody else is a fucking delicate flower whose ears start to burn every time somebody says the fuck word. That isn't my issue thing. And also, it's okay. I am okay with that. If that repels somebody, I have to be okay with it, because what that means is I am choosing myself. I have to be myself. And if I'm doing something counter to that, it feels disingenuous to myself, and therefore my quote unquote brand, which frankly, my brand, I am the face. A small caveat about swearing. I will usually not swear in front of small children. That's not fair to the kids, unless I know their parents are swearing and don't care. Otherwise, what comes out, what comes out. We're all adults here. And if swear words make a client not want to hire me, I'm all right with it. It's me not allowing myself to pretend to be anything I'm not. And that's the whole fucking point. I spent a lot of my life editing myself. And it also doubles as a filter,
the right humans who get me, get the core of why I'm here and what I do, they hear me swear, they don't care. The wrong people, the ones who maybe I'm a little too strong for, or maybe a little bit too high direction for, which is also okay because there are coaches for them too. They will self-select out. That is my brand positioning doing its job, right? You want to have a little bit of polarization. You can do that in a few ways. You can do that with different things that you say, right? Creating that, or by utilizing certain words that will pull your people more close to you and push away the ones who aren't. Because then you get to be who you are. And that's a fucking beautiful thing. I laughed so hard. I had a podcast episode review, and the woman said she had to stop playing, and bless her. Thank you if you're listening, which she most likely isn't. I appreciate the review too. I actually do, because it just tells me that I was not the coach for her. And if she would have gotten into a program with me, I would not have been a fit. And that wouldn't have been fair to her. Yes, it's not fair to me, but I'm also thinking about them, right? So when I saw that review, I laughed because I'm like, well, I guess being who I am, it's doing its job. So it is intentional. It is intentional because it's me not allowing myself to mask anymore. Last but not least, number 11, I tell my people that fear is normal and the gap is the issue. So we're going back to imposter syndrome again. It's so important that I'm saying it twice in this episode because there's a difference between what I said earlier about the framing of imposter syndrome and this. Fear is normal. It's natural. It's a human emotion. Every person on the planet feels it. But for us as late diagnosed women, the fear gets tangled up with this lack of self-trust, and we can't tell the difference anymore, right? We think that fear is imposter syndrome in some way. We think that means that because we've heard those two words, and that's what the language we have, those are the two words to describe the feeling. We think that doubt means we're not good enough, which is not true. Fear is not the problem. It's the gap that lays underneath it all that is the root cause for so many women who are diagnosed later in life. And the later you get diagnosed, the more extreme some of the feelings can be and more time it may take to counteract this. When you close this gap, though, you will still feel fear. You just stop letting it make the fucking decisions for you. You stop confusing normal fear, like that you're supposed to have, with evidence that you're not capable. You are capable. You always were. You know that. You just didn't trust yourself enough to see it yet. And that, my fine feral friend, is what I do differently. Those are the things that I do in my business or with my clients that a lot of coaches might not agree with. And it's not just to be contrarian, it's really to share more with you about me, things that are different, because it also lets you know and understand that your version of different for your business, it counts. It counts. And with that, we are going to finish today's episode. I'm going to double dog dare you because I know we cannot give up a double dog dare. Yes, I use double dog dare in my coaching. Actually, you can ask my clients, they'll tell you it's pretty fucking funny because we cannot not do a double dog dare. So DM me at Carry Out Loud on Instagram. Tell me the number one thing right now in your business that feels like it's keeping you stuck. Is it the lack of self-trust? Is it the business that's overcomplicated that feels like you're spinning a million plates at the same time and you can't figure out what to put down? Send it. I read every single one. I respond personally. One DM could change the trajectory of your business, like for realies. So go send it because I got you. And also become an insider in my universe. Subscribe to my newsletter. It's once a week. I don't do a ton of marketing emails except when I'm doing a launch, but every week you get the frequency. It's a little insight to me behind the scenes of the business here. I put a song of the week in there because music is who I am. It's my hyper focus. And I think there's one other thing, and I Oh, and a quote, fun little things like that. Until next time, I see you. I love you. Keep being your genuine feral ass fucking self. Do you see me looking at you right here? That makes the normies shit bricks. That's what you're supposed to be here to do. You're supposed to shake shit up and wreck some rules. And I'm fucking rooting for you always. Bye. Oh, hey, you're still here. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the ways to follow me. And of course, my goal is to find and help as many women with ADHD get away from the 9-to-5 grind, because it's just not designed for our neurospicy brilliance, and there are other ways to do life. So by subscribing, sharing, and giving a 5-star review, it helps other women find this podcast as well. And if there's an episode you really love, please feel free to take a screenshot and share it on your social and tag me in it so that I can thank you personally. Until next time, you spicy brained unicorn. Bye.